Hello, Dina Wakley here. Welcome to my mess of a studio, as usual. And I am here to show you my new release, holiday release, with Spellbinders paper arts. Are you ready to do some Christmas shenanigans with me? All right, come along and I'll show you the goods, and then I'll show you my samples that I made. Look, here we are. 4 parts to this release. First part is a 3D embossing folder called Stars and Fronds. Stars and Fronds frame, actually, because these are arranged so that they can act like a frame and you can center something right there in the middle or just use it as a background. 3D so that you get that great dimension between the different elements. And you'll notice stars showing up throughout this collection because I like them. They make me happy. So Stars and Fronds frame 3D embossing folder is in the collection. We've got this sweet little set here. This is so versatile because you always need something that says Merry Christmas. So this is called Starry Merry Christmas because the background plates are these teeny tiny cute little stars, and the eye is dotted with a star, which, I mean, come on, so adorable. And then you get these little holly leaves and berries. When I lived in England, when I was age 12 to 15, we lived in Tarrington, St. Clement, England, which is a little village outside of King's Lynn in Norfolk. And our drive there was lined with these beautiful holly trees. And I'm here to tell you, it really hurts to step on holly leaves because they're a little spiky. But I have so many good memories of England and holly, and I love holly for that reason. Good memories. So you're going to get the plates, Merry Christmas, the stars, and the holly. And then you'll get dies for the holly and for the Merry Christmas. Okay, so Starry Merry Christmas number, that's the first Better Press set. Here is the next one, Merry, Merry, Merry Bird. If you know me, you know I love my birds. We did the first release with Spellbinders, had birds in it, right? So we've got a cute little bird. I mean, how adorable is the crown? A little bauble. And Merry, Merry, Merry is the sentiment. And the background are these awesome polka dots. So you'll get the background plates, you'll get the bird and the sentiment and the bauble plate, and then the dies you get the pennant to cut out the sentiment, the bauble, and the bird. So cute, right? Last but not least, we have Cheer and Good Tidings Dear. You know I'm obsessed with all things fawn. Love, 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 love. Did I mention love? Love. So here you're going to get the stars and the moon. You're going to get this really beautiful deer with the antlers. And the sentiment says cheer and good tidings to you. So you'll get the plates for the background and the deer and the sentiment. And the dies will be the journaling strip or the pennant to cut out the journaling and the awesome deer. All right, so these are the new release items. All right, are you ready to see what I made with these? It's not going to come as a big shock to you that I didn't go the super traditional route. You're not going to see red and green. You're going to see pink and turquoise and mustard and the Dina colors. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't work your magic in a traditional way and do traditional red and green, blue and silver, all of the Christmas standards that are awesome for a reason. They're classic and they work. So please, when you use the stuff, please tag me so that I can see your awesomeness. All right, so here's a little card. Merry, Merry, Merry. I originally put these birds on the string or on the ribbon and let them be free, and then it was making me a little crazy, so I ended up gluing them down. But originally I had them just glued to the ribbon. But I taught myself through Spellbinders' awesome education videos how to use the glimmer. So I foiled a little bit. I know, are you surprised? Look how good that background looks foiled. So cool. And look at these little hollies that I'm obsessed with. I put them on everything. At first I was like, oh, they're kind of fiddly. I don't know if I'll love that one. I should have made them bigger. And then I cut some and used them, and then I found I'm like, I need 100 more of those. So I sat there for a little bit and just pressed and cut a bunch of those. You'll see them showing up on all things. So There's one sample. Again, not your traditional Christmas colors, but I still love it. Another one that I foiled. I know. Who am I? A little bit of the holly here. Remember, the holly comes in the Merry Christmas, right? Starry Merry Christmas. But everything is interchangeable in the same style. So non-traditional, but happy and cheery all the same. Got Merry Christmas, Starry Merry Christmas here, and my little birds that I love. A little bit of fabric from the quilt that I am really doing a bad job at making. You can see the 3D embossing folder there in the background. I like to use the embossing folders. I mean, I do it for all. Like here's one where I did for the majority of the card base, but I do like to tear them in half and have it just bits. Have half of the 3D embossing folder. Here I didn't even put the bauble in the center of the frame for the embossing folder. It still went down on the bottom, right? But it just made me happy. This is fabric that I had printed. This one again is sort of loose, sort of dangling. And again, you'll see those hollies popping up everywhere because, like I said, became addicted to those little suckers. So happy and fun, right? More birds. 3D embossing folder there in the background. Had to give these ones little cheeks because they needed rosy little cheeks, right? Here you have the 3D embossing folder on the strip, the layered strip here. More of the holly. I did the baubles sort of tucked into the strip there, the strip of cardstock. You'll see the polka dot background, the Merry Christmas. So this one, I did the 3D embossing folder there on the craft, and then look, I foiled, woohoo! I foiled the deer, and then I just used a paper punch and cut out, you know, like a standard office paper punch, and cut out a hole for the Rudolph nose. Kind of fun, right? Of course, using Spellbinders' awesome cardstock. How can you go wrong? Sweet one here. This is painted fabric that I had done. And then here we have the deer, and then I put a little bow around his neck because I thought it was sweet. Another one with the deer. Again, look, the holly as the garland around its neck. The little pink cheek. I did the background with the bauble, the stars. Remember, these stars come with the Merry Christmas sentiment set. Another one. Again, I told you, obsessed with those little hollies. So here I stapled the hollies, or probably glued it. Glued the holly to the ribbon. And I took Mary, 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 and I cut it up so that it's sort of not long and skinny, but short. Little single words. Here I inked it so that the antlers were different color than the deer body. And then you can see the baubles in the background. So I'm mixing and matching all of the sets. You're seeing, you know, just, it's almost like you put all the different elements into a Yahtzee cup, shake it up, pour it out, use what pours out, right? Because they all go so well together. Look, I foiled that sentiment there. This time I stuck the bauble behind some plain collage paper, so it's kind of like vellum, but kind of not, but kind of an opaque, but still transparent. Opaque, but still transparent makes literally no sense. You know, a transparent, but not perfectly clear paper back there, so you can kind of see it tucked back there. Birds marching along. Again, once you get that paper punch out, you can use it on everything, right? And one more with the deer. All right, so those are my samples. Looking forward to seeing you work your magic, your holiday magic. Make sure that you tag me. My Instagram is @Dina Wakley, Dina Wakley. And I love, love, love to see what you do. I really do. And you don't have to go super non-traditional, of course. You can keep it traditional. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas.